session, we have seen what are all the spy modes we have. So Win32 spy mode, UI automation spy mode, accessibility mode, and region mode. But I told you to forget about region mode for now. Okay. And I told you that we are going to automate. We are first going to get the requirement document, proper requirement document, and then automate this Centrix data solution application. Okay. So let us do that. So any questions on yesterday's, day before yesterday's concept that we have discussed? You want me to explain anything, anything that we have discussed day before yesterday? Do you want me to repeat anything? Okay. So basically what we have discussed earlier is, so we know now we have learned in the previous session how to define this application modeler. Hope you understood how we have defined this application wizard here. And then I have shown you how to capture the element using the spy modes. So once we launch the application, from the application modeler, we are going to get this, we are going to launch the application, BP travel application. So you can see the browser is launched and application is also launched inside the browser. And now if you want to automatically send the data, like log in into the application and create the quotation in the application, if you want to accomplish all these tasks, how are we going to do that? So to automate any application, we are first supposed to capture all the required elements. Whatever the steps that we are performing manually, we need to do it. We need to automate them. All the manual steps needs to be automated. To automate all the manual steps, what are we supposed to do here is, we're supposed to capture the elements on the application. So to capture the elements, we have identification tool available. So this identification tool will help us to capture the elements in different spy modes. We don't have any single spy mode mandatory. We are not supposed to use the same spy mode for all the to capture all the elements. We can use different spy modes wherever it is required. So here we have seen what are all the spy modes we have, and we have seen how we are going to capture the elements. So let's say, for example, today I am going to talk about attribute selection also. Let's concentrate here. Identify. When I click on identify, we know that we will be able to see this identification tool. So once you are able to see the identification tool, you can now hover onto any of the control whichever you want to capture. Okay, whichever you want to capture, you can now hover onto that application. And guys, remember, please try to, whenever you're automating any web application, please try to maintain your zoom as 100%. Okay, zoom as 100%. Okay, and anyone of you, if anyone of you are facing difficulty in viewing this list here, so let's say, for example, most of you might not be able to see the names clearly. You can see half the name is under the default page and all, right? In your application, BluePrism application, are you able to see all the names clearly? Is the font clear for everyone? If any one of you are facing that issue, what you can do here is, see, go to your display settings here. Whoever is facing this issue, go to your display settings. Okay, change your display resolution to 1366 by 768. This is the recommended, what to say, like display resolution for BluePrism. Okay, 1366 by 768 and change the size of the text and apps to 100%. Keep it 100% all the time. Okay, don't do any other changes. All you need to do, come here, go to resolution settings here, display settings 1366 by 768. Choose this. You might be having a list. Out of that, you can choose this one. Okay, and change it to recommended to 100%. Okay, that's all. Only that thing we need to do. If you do that, everything will be done. And guys, you do it after the session. Okay, after doing these changes, again we need to restart our mission. So don't do it right away. You try to do these settings after the session. Okay, at 12 o'clock. By 12 we will be ending the session. At 12 you can do this setting and restart your mission. Understood? Okay, so we need to restart your mission. Only then the changes will be reflected to your BluePrism application also. Okay, so what you need to do, go to display settings and change the resolution. Simple thing. Let me repeat it once again. Go to display settings, change the display resolution to 1366 by 768. I'm going to ping you in the chat. 1366 by 768. Recommended resolution. Okay, and size of the text is 100%. These are recommended. Okay, I have pinged you in the chat. You can make a note of that and please perform it later. Please do it later. Let us come back to the process studio where we are, sorry, object, where here is the application modeler. Select the element, identify. So now here we are going to capture this. So how to capture? So we get the identification tool. To capture any control, you just need to hover on that. So for each identification, I mean for each spy mode, you can see the color will be different. So you can see for winter to spy mode, UI automation spy mode, accessibility mode, region mode, and again coming back to HTML spy mode. And we get this HTML spy mode only in web applications. That too, when we launch it in the Internet Explorer. So once we capture the element, we get the list of attributes here. These are the list which are coming from the application. They are not related to BluePrism. Basically, all these properties are nothing but the properties of this specific username text box here. Okay, all the properties that this specific username text box is having, HTML spy mode is going to read some mandatory properties and show it in the attribute list here. In the attribute list, we will be having these columns: match, name, this is the name column, match, match type, and value. What is this match? So are you planning to, I mean, when you check this checkbox, which means that the property should match to the properties which are available for this specific text box in the application level. So in BluePrism, you are going to choose which properties I am going to select here. Based on the attributes that you are going to select here, it will be able to identify the text box here. Okay, so let's say for example, if I'm not going to, so let's say if I eliminate all of them, or let's say simply text, username, class name also text. Now if I highlight, how is it highlighting input type. Okay. So see here, if I highlight by using only class name, you can see the difference here. See, it is highlighting both username and password, because for both the username and password, class name is common. So we are not supposed to choose the common ones here. Okay, so we should go for the unique values. What will be the unique value? Basically id will be unique. I explained you yesterday, I mean day before yesterday also. id will be a unique value for all the controls. So when we choose id, you can uncheck everything else. Once you highlight it, it will highlight only that one alone. Okay, and add an element. Now let me capture password also. So here we see the password here. Input type, you see the difference here. For this the input type is text. For this the input type is text. For this the input type is password. Okay, this is also unique. So we can choose input type also. I'm choosing input type also. Okay, and can I go ahead and choose path here? No, do not choose path and parent URL. First thing is mandatorily you need to uncheck this parent URL for sure. Irrespective of the application that you are automating, in future if you are automating any web application, whenever you are capturing any element, don't use parent URL as your attribute. So based on the attributes that you are going to select, it will highlight that element. It will work on that element. Okay, based on the attribute that we are going to select, it will work on the element. So please don't go for parent URL, because parent URL will be different for different environments. What I mean by environments here, we will be having development environment, QA environment, and production environment. Each environment will be having different URLs for web application. Okay, so you also might be having this, I mean you might have come across this in your training also, in .NET training. I'm not sure whether they have told you this or not, but we will be having 3 different environments in IT industry for every project that we are going to develop or do anything. Okay, we'll be having 3 different environments: development, testing, and production. We develop it, we send it for testing, and then only we move to the production. Okay, so during development the URL will be different. So let's say for example, this is your production URL. Basically this is your production URL, and that is the reason we are able to launch it directly from the Internet Explorer. Okay, so basically how the dev and UIT URLs will be there. Same application, this is for production, same application, but you will be able to see bp travel dev dot blueprism.com, which means development URL. So during development you will be using this URL, and once you are done with the development, you publish the code to UAT. Okay, UAT is nothing but user acceptance testing. In some phases we call it as QA also, quality analysis or user acceptance test, UAT. Okay, based on the project, based on the companies, we give different terms to that. Both are same. Quality analysis is nothing but where you are going to check the quality of the application. You are going to test if all the scenarios, if the application is running perfectly or not, whether the bot is able to do all the developed tasks. I mean, what are the tasks we have developed, is it able to perform all the functionalities or not? That's what we are going to do in this UAT. Okay, and quality analysis or quality analysis. Okay, QA or UAT, you can call it anything. So this is your QA environment, QA URL. Okay, fine. So ideally when we do the development, right, we are not supposed to do any changes in the code after pushing it into the testing. Testing guys, what they do, they simply directly come here and they go ahead and test it. They're not going to do any modifications to the code. So let's say, for example, if I select this parent URL, so during development, what will be my parent URL? My parent URL will be bptraveldev.blueprism.com. If I use this, okay, is it going to highlight? It will not highlight, because in the production it is going to fail, or in the UAT it is going to fail, because the URL change will change for change in those two environments, production and UAT. So that is the reason we are not supposed to choose parent URL. Remember, why are we not going to choose this parent URL now? Okay. And similarly, that HTML path also, we have this HTML path also, right? This path also we are not supposed to choose this. Guys, you are going to get this attributes parent URL and path only for web applications. Remember, path and parent URL will be available only for web applications. No other applications will be having this. If you are automating this Windows application, right, you don't get this one at all. These two attributes. Okay, so you'll be getting only Windows text, ID, something like that. Okay, for Windows application, you don't go for, I mean, basically you don't get this parent URL and path in the Windows application when you're automating Windows application. Okay, so now for that reason, I'm not going to choose parent URL. And path also, it keeps changing sometimes. Why? What is the change it is going to have? So let's say, for example, they might add one more logo here, or they might add one more logo here. So when they add one more logo here, automatically a division will be added here. Yes or no? You might put it in a division, or you might put it in a table, or whatever it may be. The HTML tag path is going to update. Okay, and which is indirectly going to affect your path here. Okay, so if any of the attribute that you have selected is not matching with this one, with the application, then it will simply throw error. What error it is going to throw? No element matches the supplied query terms. With the supplied query terms, what are the query terms here? These are the query terms. These are the kind of where condition, where ID equal to username, where input type equal to text, where parent URL equal to bptraveldev.blueprism.com. So where this value, all these three values are satisfying, then select that element, highlight that element. Okay, but here what is going to happen? Sorry. So here what is going to happen? This element is not going to match. Yes or no? Because the parent URL is different. And that is the reason we will be getting this error called no element matches the supplied query terms. So whenever you get this error, right, what are you supposed to do? Check your list of attributes whether you have selected them correctly or not. If anything is missing, then it throws an error like this. Okay, so do the attribute selection properly. We need to do proper attribute selection. Remember, ID, input type, value, and yeah, ID, input type, value, and also class name. Sometimes this will be unique. These will be unique. Even after selecting ID, if you are facing issue, then you can go for match index. So when we automate more applications, when we capture more elements, then we come across this one. And one more thing, let me tell you, this attribute selection here, no one has given you any inputs from BluePrism side also. Even the product team, BluePrism product team, they also haven't mentioned anything about attribute selection in the BluePrism portal or anywhere. Only it is trial and error. I mean to select, you need to research and select the correct attributes. When you're automating a new application, all the time you need to do some research, which attributes are going to work, you need to identify them, and then only you have to proceed further. Okay, seriously, nowhere else we have this attribute selection, how to do that, which will be the correct attributes and all, because every time it keeps changing for application to application. Okay, so most of the web applications you can see id. If id is not available, if id is not available, at least that will be available in the value. You can choose value in that case. Let's say if id is not available, if id value is empty, then try to check value attribute. This is your value attribute. Okay, now check if value attribute is having some value or not. If it is having, and if you see that it is unique, then you can choose that. So this is how we do the attribute selection here. So now if I change my zoom to 150 and try to highlight this, see where it is highlighting. Did you observe what I have done here? I have updated my zoom here. Yes or no? I changed my zoom size to 150, right? And what happened? You try to highlight it. You try to highlight it. What is happening? It is highlighting somewhere else, right? Okay. Now let me add one more element. Identify. Try to capture this element. See, where is your text box is coming? Where is my button then? Somewhere else we are getting these buttons, right? Understood, guys? Okay, that is the reason every time we need to maintain our zoom to 100%. Now you understood what is the purpose. I told you to maintain the zoom as 100% and proper screen resolution. This is what will happen if you don't choose your screen resolution and everything properly. Okay, so this is for button. Now if you observe here in button, I told you, I explained you so far, right? Like if you don't find id value, if you don't find id value, then what are you supposed to do? Try to check value attribute. In value attribute you can see the value of that button name. Okay, then select this one. Okay, clear. And class name is also button. Now try to highlight it. Are you able to highlight? I'm not selecting path and parent URL here. Okay, I'm just going with unique values, value directly which is equal to login, and class name which is equal to button. Highlight. Yes, I'm able to highlight perfectly. Okay, any questions? Now, so that is with web application. Now let us automate this application basically. Syntrix data solution application, and here is your Excel file orders. We have this data here. Now I'm supposed to create orders for this data and update the reference number back into the Excel file. That is the requirement here. So what is the requirement? Create orders using this data. For each record we need to create an order. So once we create the order, We get the reference number and update the reference number back into the reference number column in the Excel file. How are we going to do that? To do that, what is the first step? First step is to create the object. First step is to create the object. Okay, so we have already created the object for this, yes or no? Web application, Centrix data solution. We have integrated the desktop application also here. I mean the Windows application. Sorry, I said web. It is Windows application, Centrix data solution, VBO. Okay, so what we have done as a first step, we created this object and we have defined the application modeler wizard. In the application wizard, we have defined all the inputs here. What are all the required inputs? So what is the main input here is exe path, where exactly the executable file is available. Okay, and then we are going to start capturing the elements. Now we are supposed to start capturing the elements here. Okay, so how are we going to capture the elements? So first thing is, we have integrated the application. Now don't forget to launch the application from application modeler. Whenever you want to capture the elements in application modeler, don't forget to launch the application from application modeler. Okay, so sometimes most of the mistakes what you people will be doing when you are practicing, right? Most common mistakes, I'm telling that most common mistakes. Okay, not that you will be doing this mistake, but most commonly most of you will be doing that. So they would have launched the application. Again they will launch the application from the BluePrism. Okay, this is the application which is launched from BluePrism. Now instead of using this, what they do, they click on identify, add a new element here. They click on identify, they will try to capture the element on this. Okay, they will try to capture the element on this, but you can see you don't get that red highlight if it is not launched from the BluePrism. Okay, and that should be integrated with BluePrism. Only when you launch the application through BluePrism, you can see that red highlight on the elements. Whenever you hover onto the elements, you will be able to see the highlighting mark. Okay, which is launched from the BluePrism application modeler. If you are not going to launch it from BluePrism application modeler, we'll be facing this issue. See, we can't. Understood? So I'm going to capture this window here. Hope you understood what I have done right now. Okay, so every time I keep capture the windows, each and every window also, window login, and provide the proper naming conventions to the elements that you are going to capture. Inside the login window, we have all these elements. That is the reason so what you can do here is, right, you can add an element. Under this element you can add child, like this. See what I'm doing here. So under this I will add an element. I will select this element. Under this hierarchy, if you want to keep adding the elements, you select any element in that hierarchy. For that you select the, you click on this element button, add element button. Now if you want to add child elements to this, click on child. You will be able to add a child element. Select that element. Under that, if you want to see multiple childs, like this. Again under this, if you want to add a child, you can add a child. Okay, so under this, if you want to add a child, you can add a child like this. Clear? Okay, likewise you can keep adding the elements. A proper hierarchy needs to be defined. Why do we need to do like that? Because in future, whenever someone is going to replace you and they are going to work on this project, they should be capable of understanding how we have captured the elements. Okay, I can't go ahead and capture all the things in a single hierarchy, single row, okay, single sequence. Use proper hierarchy as a best practice method so that it will be easy in future. Even for you also, it will be easy to identify where exactly which element is available. Okay, that is the reason. Now coming back to the application modeler. So first is window login. This is the window login. So as we discussed in the previous session, we can eliminate these three: visible, screen visible, and enabled. Okay, and you can see the Windows text name. What it has taken the name which is available on top of the window, the heading of the window, Centrix Data Solution, please log in. It is the same value here. If any one value changes here, now try to highlight, it will throw an error, unable to match any windows with the query terms. Okay, got my point, right? So don't edit any of these. What are the things that you are going to capture? Please use that. Okay, now highlight. It is able to highlight this window. Windows text, don't edit it. You can edit match index, but not Windows text. Text and all, you don't do any changes. You can play with match index based on the location of this, based on the index value, which in which sequence these text boxes have been arranged. Based on that, you can use this match index. Okay. Now coming to the staff number, and we have already seen what is the issue we have faced with staff number. So if I don't choose this match index and try to highlight, it is going to highlight both staff number and password. More than one matching window is found. We came across two errors. One is no element matches the given query terms, and more than one matching window found. Whenever you get these errors, what is the first error? Query terms, and next error is more than one matching window is found. More than one matching window found. These are the most common errors you will be getting while you doing this attribute selection and all. So why are we going to get these errors? So if you understand why are we going to get this error, it will be easy for us to resolve the error. Okay, what is the reason behind this? No element matches the query terms. As I told you, make sure you are choosing proper attributes here. If any of the value changes here, it will not be able to match. I mean, you'll be, the attribute list here will try to match with the properties of the element from the application end. In the application end, if there is something different value, and what are the value is different here in the attribute list, then it will throw an error. No element matches the query terms. Remember that. Okay. Now similarly, more than one matching window found. Why do we get this error? More than one matching window found. Because if the attributes selected are common for both elements, if the attributes that we have chosen here are common for both elements, any two elements, then when you try to highlight, it will highlight both the elements. It will highlight both the elements. For that reason, it is going to throw an error telling that more than one matching window found. Here, first error is no matching window at all found. We did not find any matching window. No element matches the query terms. Nothing is matched. Here, more than one element is getting matched with the same attributes. Okay. Here nothing. Here more than one. These two errors are most common errors. We are not supposed to get this error. If you are getting this error, we have done something mistake in the attribute list. So immediately you should go back to your attribute list and start checking your attribute list, whether you have done proper selection or not. Whether, so again, if you try to get that error, right? So if you're not sure whether you have done it correctly or not, what you can do, identify it once again, select that element, try to identify it once again. Then it will ask you the pop-up. The currently selected element in this tree already contains information from a previous spy operation. This information is about to be replaced. So because what it is saying, already there is a list of attributes which are selected. Do you want me to replace? Are you wish to? Are you sure you wish to continue? Yes, I want to respy it. So what I do, I will recapture it. Again, you do the proper selection here. If you want to recapture the element, we can recapture the element also and do the proper attribute selection here. So by default, I'm not going to check this. I mean, leave the checkboxes like that. And let me go to match index here and update the value to 2. Now highlight it. We are able to highlight. How I came to know that it is 2? So how I came to know that it is 2? So by default, the value will be 1. I tried to highlight it. So it is showing password. It is highlighting password. So what I thought logically, okay, if it is showing 1, can it be 2? So I simply updated here to 2, and then I tried to highlight. I'm able to highlight now. Likewise, we capture the elements here. And for login button, this is the name of the button, right? Name of the button. For text box, you don't have any value. Basically, the text boxes all the time they will be empty. After that only you will be able to enter the text inside that. Okay, so that is the reason when you capture the text box, you can see your Windows text attribute is empty. Yes or no? Your Windows text attribute is empty. Why is it empty? Because by default it will be empty. By default it will be empty. Okay, on a empty text box you need to enter the staff number. Clear? So even after entering the text also, since we have chosen match index and class name, even after entering text also it will highlight it correctly. Okay, so this is how we do the attribute selection in Win32 spy mode, and it is same for active accessibility also. Accessibility mode, I'll explain it again. About the accessibility mode, we have multiple examples to perform, so for each and every example we'll be using different spy modes. Okay, hope you understood what I'm trying to explain here. So now similarly, after capturing Windows login this window, and then text box staff number, text box password, button login, I have captured these 3. Now let me log manually. I need to continue with the remaining elements also, right? So I will log in manually. While capturing the elements, you do this manually in the application level. Okay, you manually log in into there, and then the next page is, what is the next window? Window underscore home. This is your home window. What is that? Home. Identify that. Capture the window here. Window home. So see the Windows text here. See home connected to PRD. Home connected to PRD. Is that having same value? Yes. Okay. Now let us go ahead and identify. So after coming here, we are supposed to click on orders. What are all the things we are going to do manually? We need to capture all the elements there. Okay. Clear? Control left click. This is button underscore orders. Button underscore orders. Okay. So after clicking on button orders, now we will be navigating to a new page, that is order menu page. What is that? Order menu page. Let me delete these 2 elements here. So each window so each and every page I'm treating it as a window and taking a separate hierarchy for each window. Okay. So this is my separate window. Identify that. Now capture this window. Guys, whoever have joined now, please go on mute. Someone is they are able to hear me now? Yeah. So now we are going to this new element, identify that. Okay, we have already captured it, right? Yeah, this is the new window. What is the new window here? Centrix data solution order menu. I am capturing this window. Okay, what is this? Let me name it as window underscore order menu. Okay, inside that we are going to identify this text box so that we'll be able to enter the new order, and then we'll be able to click on go. Okay, sorry, I clicked on alt. Yeah. Left click, as it is a text box, highlight it. It will highlight because it is having single name, but make sure we use match index also. Class name alone is not enough. Make sure we use match index also. Okay, for text boxes it is a best practice to use match index when you are working in Win32 spy mode. Now let me capture, this is our text box. Enter option. Okay, and then we have button go. Capturing button go. How am I capturing? Select the element, click on identify button. Now see this, I'm going to add one more hierarchy here. Okay, to capture the elements inside this new order page. Okay, so how am I capturing the elements here? Select the element, click on identify button, hover onto the element which we are supposed to capture, and then click on control, hold your control key on your keypad and perform left click on the mouse. Okay, and then you'll be able to get this list of attributes here. Uncheck the default true attributes. Okay, don't select this default true attributes, uncheck them. Now name it as window underscore new order. Okay, if you want to verify it, you can highlight this and see it is able to highlight. Now inside this window, what are all the elements we are supposed to capture? We are supposed to capture product code, unit price, quantity, customer account number, checkbox, priority order, and then button submit. Okay, now let me show you how we are going to do that. We are going to first add a child here. Select this element, click on child. After that, select this element and click on element, add element. Okay, total 6 elements I need to capture here: product code, unit price, quantity, customer account number, and then priority order, and then submit button. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, now let us go ahead and capture all 6 now. Identify text box. Here we have captured product code text box. So as we discussed, default true, let us eliminate them. And Windows text will be empty because it is a text box. There won't be any value. Uncheck that. Now try to highlight it. We are getting the same issue now. So what are we supposed to do now? Can someone tell me what are we supposed to do now? So now we are supposed to choose match index here, right? Yes, we are supposed to choose match index here. So what is going to happen if I choose match index? Now let us go to match index element here. Scroll down, you can find match index element. This is our match index element. Select attribute match index. Once you select the match index attribute, now try to highlight it. Is it highlighting correctly? Yes. Yes or no? If you try to highlight it, it is highlighting correctly. Okay. So what is the index value here? It is 1. So what will be the index value for unit price? For product code, index value is 1. What will be the index value for unit price? 2. Likewise. Yes or no? Now let me show you something. Let me show you something else here. I will scroll down. I found something called as match reverse. Now I selected this match reverse. I selected that match reverse. Now I tried to highlight. What happened? Observe the screen once again. I selected match reverse attribute in the list and clicked on highlight. What happened? How many of you observed this? I have selected match reverse. Previously, I did not select match reverse. Okay, I just selected match index and tried to highlight it, and it is able to highlight the first text box. Now I clicked on match reverse and then I clicked on highlight. So what is it highlighting? So here here it is highlighting customer account number. Why is it highlighting customer account number? When I select this one, it starts treating the match index value from the reverse order. So basically the order is 1, match index value order is 1, 2 and 3. Okay, since what I have done here, since I have chosen match reverse here, now the order will be given in 1, 2 and 3, reverse order. Understood? Okay, so when I do match reverse and if you want to highlight product code, I need to change it to 3 and highlight it. Okay, that is the purpose of match reverse here. Hope you understood what I'm trying to say here. Don't get confused, guys. These are attribute selections. So when you understand how to select these attributes, then everything will be easy. Okay, so this is how we do the attribute selection. Are we good so far? Now, so match reverse, I'm not going to choose match reverse now. Let me make it to 1. Highlight. Yes, product code is getting highlighted. So name this as text box underscore product code. Okay, and then go to the next element, text box underscore unit price. Now click on identify button, capture this unit price text box here, hover onto the text box, hold your control key and left click on mouse. Now you get the list of attributes here, and we know that we are supposed to eliminate these. I'm going to eliminate them, and then match index value, select the match index value. If match index is 1, what is going to happen? It will highlight product code all the time. So my match index value is, we are supposed to update our match index value to 2. Now we are able to highlight unit price. Okay, and then let us capture the next element, that is customer account number. First let us capture all the text boxes here, and then we'll step into the quantity field. Okay, it is not mandatory that you need to capture them in a sequence. You can do it in different ways also. But when you are designing your solution, then you have to follow a proper order here. Okay, I'll tell you, I'll explain it. You come to that point. Okay, customer account number. This is our customer account number. Now let us capture the customer account number. Click on identify button and you'll get the Win32 spy mode. Hover onto your customer account number. Catch your control key. Click on the control key on your keypad and then left click on the mouse. So I am wantedly repeating everything so that you will remember it forever. And then we choose match index here. Choose the match index. Yes, you try to highlight match index, it will highlight. After selecting the match index, you try to highlight this, it will highlight product code. But we know that 1 is the value for product code. Let us update it to 3. Now try to highlight. We are able to highlight customer account number. Okay. Now let us go ahead and capture quantity. How to capture the quantity? Observe this. Quantity bit complex. Drop down, this drop down. See here. What is this? Is that a drop down or text box? Currently, I have hovered onto this quantity. What type it is? Is it a text box or drop down? Let us select and see. Okay, I am selecting this. See, what is the class name they have given here? Edit. Okay. Now similarly, this is element 4. Remember, just observe this. This is element 4. Now once again I will capture that. Once again I will capture it. Now tell me what type it is. See the element type here. In the first one, it is saying edit. Edit means text box. In the second one, what is the element type? Combo box. Yes or no? So which is the correct one we are supposed to capture? Combo box or edit? Which one we are supposed to capture here? I clicked on highlight. This one or the outer one? Remember, whenever you come across this kind of drop downs, you try to capture the outer one, the whole combo box. Okay, we are supposed to capture the whole combo box. Understood? You capture the combo box here. Okay, so let me recapture this element here. Control left click, select quantity. So you can see I'm doing the select quantity. You got the Windows text here by default. Whatever the text is available here, we'll get it. Okay. Now observe this carefully. Observe this carefully. I'm going to highlight. It is highlighting, right? It is highlighting. Yes. Now manually, I'm going to create an order. Okay. I'm going to create an order manually. Submit. Please make a note of our reference number. We got the reference number, right? I made a note of my reference number. Now I clicked on OK. First record is completed. Assume we have list of records. For first record, I created the order, right? Now, again, I'm going back to the screen. What happened? Did you see any changes in the screen? What happened to your combo box? Previously, you were able to see select quantity here, yes or no? Are you able to see select quantity now? Where is the text select quantity? But here, if you see the Windows text, we got this value by default, right? Now, if I try to highlight this, you are getting that error where you are unable to match any windows with the query terms because you see this select quantity has been disappeared. Did you notice that? Select quantity is disappeared. Why it disappeared? You created the first record, you created order for the first record, automatically it is the application functionality. We can't do anything. The application functions like that. Let's say for example, if you have developed this application, you know what changes to do so that you will be having this select quantity text always in that combo box. You know what changes you have to do. Okay, but whereas we didn't develop the application, someone have developed the application, they have asked us to automate it. We are just supposed to automate it, right? So according to the application functionality, we have to design our flow. Okay, not according to RPA, they are going to build the applications. Based on the applications they have built, we are going to write the design here. Got my point, what I'm trying to say? Okay, so here, if you see, we lost this current select quantity text from this combo box. So what are we supposed to do now? What are we supposed to do now? So let me highlight. It is not highlighting. Now let me close the application. Let me close the application. Relaunch the application. Password. Login into the application. Go to orders tab. Inside that, pass your new order and click on go. Now observe this carefully. When you launch the application and when you log in for the first time, when you log into the application and launch it, only once you will be seeing this select quantity. Okay, for the first time, before creating any orders and all, if you close the application and relaunch it, only that time you will be able to see the select quantity. Once you create the order, okay, what is going to happen to the application? Once you create the order, you submit. Once the order is created, you don't see that select quantity in that text actual. The text in the quantity combo box. See, so how many number of times you create the order here? You create the order here n number of times. Okay, submit. See what is happening here every time. It is creating the order. When you go back here, click on one, again come to the screen. So what's happening here? It will not be able to show that select quantity. Okay, only when you launch it for the first time, when if you close that again, if you launch it, then you will be able to see. P password, login. Go to orders, pass the new order. So there will be multiple things we need to keep in mind before we go ahead and automate this. So here you see only for the first time you are getting this select quantity. So how to resolve this issue? How to resolve this? That is the place where we are going to use match type. Match type. See the match type column. Name, match, match type and value. Match type, I'm going to make it wildcard. What is that? Wildcard. You might have come across wildcard, right? In your programming C#. Did you come across wildcard? You know if you heard about it? What is a wildcard? I'm not sure if you have heard about this or not, but let me explain it. Okay. So what do you mean by this wildcard? Wildcard is nothing but accept anything. Hey, this is not the wildcard in Big Boss. Okay. You guys might be thinking about that. Okay. Just forget about that. See, match type. When you make it as wildcard, irrespective of the value that you are going to have here, here also you need to mention star. So it never consider what value present here. You will simply highlight this drop down. See, okay, is it highlighting now? Now let us do one thing. Now let us create the order, and let me show you one more thing here. Why I did not capture the text box? Why I did not capture the text box? Why did I go ahead and capture this combo box, complete combo box? Because if you edit it, it is editable drop down basically. If you edit it, So let's say for example 20, I have edited the value there. Okay, you see the order value is not updated automatically, and also when you try to submit the order, you can see order quantity is not a valid number. You are working on a combo box, but you are not supposed to edit it. You need to select the value from the drop down. When you choose the value from the drop down, then you can see the value is updated here, and when you try to click on submit, you are able to get the reference number now. Okay, all these things we need to go ahead and identify in the application. So what are the applications you are going to automate? You need to check all these things in each and every page. Okay, how this is working, how this is going to change, etc. Okay, now here we got this Windows text, we made it as wildcard. So once we come back here, even though we don't have this select quantity in that, now let us highlight. We are able to highlight the drop down without any issue. So understood the purpose of wildcard here. Okay, so this is your combo box underscore quantity. Don't. Okay, fine. Next one, identify. Yes. I am going to now select the checkbox here. Control left click. Checkbox is selected. So here also let us remove all of them. Try to highlight it. More than one matching window is found. So go for match index. Where is my match index? Select the match index. So I selected the match index. Okay, screen visible, not screen visible. Where is my class name? Class name. Yeah. So these are the two things. Now highlight. So it is highlighting somewhere else. Observe this carefully. Match index 1 with the same class name, it is highlighting inbox. It is not highlighting priority order. Now let us update match index to 2. Now highlight it. It is highlighting settings, inbox, settings, exit. So how many are we supposed to do? So what I do, simply I will go ahead and choose match reverse automatically, and then make my match index value to 1. Highlight this. It's submitted. It is highlighting submit button. And now let me choose 2 here. Now I'm able to highlight my priority order. Understood how we are going to use match index and match reverse? So let me repeat it. So initially I did not choose match reverse. Okay, class name by default, and then match index. So match index, when I choose the match index, by default the match index value will be 1. Now I choose the match index value and clicked on highlight. So it is highlighting inbox. Why is it highlighting inbox? Because inbox also having same properties like class name. This is the same thing. It is a button, right? So this is a button actually. This is also a button. So the same properties for inbox and submit also. So that is the reason when you go ahead and change this index value here, it keeps highlighting other buttons here. Inbox, settings, likewise it will go to exit and all. Okay. But what is our requirement? Our requirement is to click on this priority order. So how can we perform the click on the priority order? Only when you are able to highlight it properly, when you make the attribute selection properly here. So to do that, what I'm doing, okay, let me try to check, because we know that this is the last element here, last but one element. We have submit, and before that we have this. So what I do, first I will choose match reverse, and now by default I will make it as 1, and let me try to highlight this and see. It is able to highlight submit. Now if I change it to 2 and let me highlight it, check if it is able to highlight this or not. Yes, it is able to highlight. So that is the, this is how match reverse will help you. Okay, so this is going to be my priority order. Okay, so checkbox underscore priority order. Okay, and at the end we have identify button submit underscore submit. You will be getting this Windows text here. So choose that. Highlight. Yes, we are able to highlight. Okay, are we good so far? Yeah. So guys, take a break for 10 minutes. We'll be back in 10 minutes and then we'll continue. Okay. Thank you. Try to be back in 10 minutes, guys.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, let us come back here. So we have completed till here, right? Till capturing the submit button. Now see what is going to happen. Now we are going to capture further because after we go ahead and capture the element till submit here, after submitting we are going to get this reference number, right? We are supposed to capture the reference number also because our requirement here is to update the reference number back into the Excel file. So for that we are supposed to capture the what is that this reference number also. Okay, so to get that reference number window, I am going to create a order manually here. To get the reference number window, I'm trying to create this. So here you can see the pop-up window where it is showing that this is order confirmation and please take the note of your reference number. Okay, now let us create the window here. Name of the window, window underscore order confirmation. Okay, window underscore order confirmation. Under this we are going to add an element. Oh sorry, not add child, not element. Under this we need to first add a child. Okay, after adding the child, identify this. Please make a note of your reference number value. This is a label. In label they are representing the reference number here. Okay, so label, we capture this label. Now observe this carefully. Let me highlight this. Yeah, we're able to highlight this, right? Now click OK. Let us create one more dummy order here. Submit. We got the second order. Assume that we have created the next dummy order here. And now if we try to highlight this, is it going to highlight? Let us verify if we are able to highlight this reference number label. Unable to match any windows with the query terms. So what did I tell you? Whenever we get this unable to match any windows with the query terms or no matching, I mean more than one matching window is found, what are we supposed to verify here? We need to verify if the attribute selection is proper or not. So when you get this error, let us see what is the attribute value for this Windows text. Value for this is previous order number. If you remember, this is your previous order number. Okay, the order number will keep updating every time, yes or no? The reference number will keep updating every time. So whenever you create a new order, the reference number will be new. So what are we supposed to do? Now can someone tell me what are we supposed to do here? Same thing what we have done for the quantity. Come here, make it as wildcard, go to this value, instead of this number provide star here. So wherever we have this star, that place, whatever the text is available in that space, in that place, okay, irrespective of the text we are going to have, it will simply highlight that. Okay, highlight this one. Are you able to highlight this? Likewise. Okay, so wildcard, I made the order number to be wildcard again because the order reference number will keep changing all the time. So whenever you come across such scenarios, remember what we can do? Wildcard. Okay. this is your label reference number, and below that let us add one more element, identify. So this is our button. Okay. Okay, try to highlight that. Yes, we are able to highlight. Don't forget to do the attribute selection here. We need to uncheck this. Okay, now see, let me recap everything from starting. Windows login, see the attribute selection. Staff number, see the attribute selection, because those are text boxes. For text boxes, we are using match index in most of the cases. For buttons, the Windows text value is giving the button name, so we no need to go for any other attributes here. And home Windows also is giving the proper Windows text value. So if you have forgotten anything to uncheck, please try to uncheck it by verifying everything once again. Okay, so here also let me go through everything. Okay, button go, here also forgot to do that. Yeah, so we might forget to remove some attributes sometimes. No need to worry about that. You can simply go through the list of the attributes which we have once again, and then try to uncheck them. Okay, are we good so far? Now click on apply and click OK. So now we have defined our application modeler for all the elements which we are going to use. Our application modeler is defined now. See, this is our application modeler. So this is the naming conventions we need to follow. This is how you need to design your application modeler. Okay, I mean design in the sense I'm talking about this element tree. Okay, this will be your parent element and this will be your child elements under the parent element. Okay, now let us see how we are going to launch the application now. So how can we launch the application automatically? That is the place where we are going to use the navigate stage. Navigate stage will help you to launch the application. So once you double click on the navigate stage, if you double click on the navigate stage, it will show you the properties of the navigate stage. This is the properties window of the navigate stage. To the left side, you will be able to see application explorer. What is that? Application explorer. All the elements that we have captured using application modeler, everything will be visible in the application explorer to the left side. Okay, using this application explorer, the elements here, now we are going to have this actions tab here, which will give you the list of actions that we can perform on a specific element. Because first let us pass the parent element. When we pass the parent element, you can see the list of actions that we can perform on parent element. So parent element is a exe type, right? It is an executable file. So what all we can do with the executable file? You can attach, you can detach, you can pass global send keys. Send keys are nothing but your keyboard keystrokes. Okay, like Control C, Control V, Control A, Windows plus function F4. Okay, all these are the controls. Alt tab, the tab, everything. These are all the controls on the keyboard, right? If you want to pass any of those commands to the application, you can use this global send keys and send key events. We will come across that concept also. We are going to learn that one also. Okay. And now we have hide all windows, and then we have launch, and then we have terminate. So what is our requirement here? Launch, to launch the application. I'm going to select launch, launch application. So here if you see, we have path, command line parameters, working directory. I told you, right, I'll talk about command line parameters later. Okay, so we'll talk about this later. Okay, not now. I need to finish one more concept to talk about this command line parameters. That is the reason I'm waiting here. Okay, now click OK here. Now we are going to launch the application. Link from start to launch and launch to end. Now try to run this page, reset, reset every time you run the action pages, right? You try to reset. See, are we able to launch the application? Yes or no? Now, once we launch the application, we need to log in into the application also, right? How are we going to log in? To log in, we need username and password. Let us take two data items here. Let us take two data items here. First data item is staff number. Data type is text. Another data item is password. Data type is password. Password will be the data type. Okay. Now define the values inside them. Initial value, what is the username and password that we are using to log in? Once we define them, now go ahead and take the right stage here. I'm going to take the right stage here. What is that? Right stage. Open the right stage. To enter the data into the application, we use right stage. We have already discussed about navigate stage, right stage, and read stage. I have given the definition, that's all. But now we are going to see it practically how we are going to enter the values into the text boxes. So here, once you open the right stage, you can see the action tab. In the action tab, you can see value column, element column. Okay. And in the element column, we need to pass the elements that we have captured in the application modeler. So in the application explorer, if you see, you will be having all the elements that we have captured. Now drag and drop the element staff number, drag and drop the element staff number, and now pass its value. What is that? Staff number value. Okay guys, just a second, I'm getting a call, it's a bit urgent. Hey, sorry guys, I just got a call. Okay, thank you. Yeah, now let us come back here. So element is the column in which we are supposed to pass the element, in which we are supposed to enter the value. So value is the column where we are supposed to, what is the value? So this is our data item value. This is the value for staff number. This value we are passing it through data items. You can directly hard code here also, you can directly do it like this also, but what is the best practice? Pass through the data items. Okay, so that is the reason I'm using data items. Value present in these data items to be entered into this text box, to be entered into staff number text box. Okay, staff number and password, or you can simply say enter credentials, any name. Now we can add one more step here. I will add one more step. Now I'm going to pass my text box password element into element column here, and then password value into that password text box here. Okay, click OK. Now let us go ahead and link it, and let us reset this. Okay, now let us run this and see if we are able to launch and able to enter the username and password here. So it has launched the application and it is able to enter staff number into staff number field, password into password field. Okay, then what are we supposed to do? Click on button login. Okay, now take one more navigate stage. Guys, I can't use same navigate stage because after launching I need to enter use staff number and password, right? So if I try to use the same thing here, again it will try to launch the application. Okay, in this launch only, can I go ahead and write add one more step and say submit? No, I can't use submit button here. Okay, because only one action we have to do. But if you have some sequence of steps which are to be performed in a sequence, then you can go ahead and use this. Okay, so here pass button login here, and here we have, so for button these are all the actions. So if you see, for the parent element, that is exe, this is the exe, right? What is this having? This is having exe. This element is having exe value in it, right? Exe, because it is executable file, and that is the reason you will be able to see all these actions like attach, detach, launch, and terminate. Are we going to see same for button also? What we do with button, what are all the actions we can perform with button? We can press, we can click, that's all, double click. But whereas we are not going to perform any double click here, right? Single click on a button is enough. So let us eliminate double click. Click window, is it a window to click? No, it is not a window, it is a button basically. Okay, so what I do, I'll go for global mouse click. If I choose global mouse click, mandatory, it is very mandatory for me to pass x and y coordinates where the button is located, but I don't know where the button is located. Do we know the x and y coordinates of the button where it is located to pass here? If you don't pass this, it won't be able to perform the click here. See, we have two errors here. Read the errors. Supplies a blank expression to argument y. Supplies a blank expression to argument x. Those are mandatory attributes. Those are mandatory values to be entered. Okay. When if we choose global mouse click. So that reason I don't know my x and y coordinates. That is the reason we go for global mouse click center. What is that? Global mouse click center. When you perform this global mouse click center, what is this global mouse click center is going to do? It will move your mouse onto the button and it will click on that, like how we do manually. Okay, but then why did we know we have this global mouse click? There will be some applications where we won't be able to capture them, but based on the row number and column number, we can go ahead and perform the clicks. Okay, so some applications where we know the coordinates of the buttons or whatever it may be, in that scenario we go for this global mouse click. All the possible actions will be available, whichever will help us, we are going to use that. Okay, button underscore click. Now link this. Yeah, we have already linked. Okay, now let us run this and see if you are able to execute it. Still we have errors. What is that? Row 1 contains an argument. Go to stage. What is that? Yeah, okay, this is fine. This is negligible, not required. Now let us run this flow. So I'm going to start it. It is going to launch the application, enter the username and password, and it clicked on login button. Is it able to perform everything automatically? Did I do anything manually here? It is able to launch the application by itself. It is able to enter the data by itself. It is able to click on the button by itself, login button, and we are able to log in into the application. Understood, guys? So far, anyone have any queries so far? So how to use navigate stage, how to use write stage, okay, how to click on the buttons. So to launch the application, we use navigate stage. To click on the buttons, we use navigate stage. To enter the data and to read the data, we use write and read. Okay. Likewise, now whenever you do this, right, whenever you build the solution, right, every time when you do the testing, right, in internal testing, so as a developer you test your code, right? So don't test it in a normal speed. Okay, don't test it in normal speed, make it to full speed. Move your cursor to the your run speed to full fast. Okay, Click on this drop down, you can make it fast. Now run it. Now run it and see if it is able to run without any issue, then it is a perfect solution. What happened? I ran into error. What am I supposed to do now? Oh my god, we ran into error. Failed to perform step 1 in write stage. What step has failed? Failed to perform step 1 in write stage. In which stage? Write stage. What is the name of the write stage? Enter staff number and password. This is the stage. In this stage, it has failed to perform step 1. What is the step 1? And that too in the action page. In the action page 1, it has failed to perform step 1. In this action page 1, bot has failed to perform step 1 in the write stage. Write stage name is enter staff number and password. Unable to match any windows with the query terms. Unable to match any windows with the query terms. And why did we get this error? So whenever we get this error, what did I ask you to verify? I asked you to verify application modeler, right? I asked you to verify application modeler attributes, right? Now the error will come in different scenario also. Let me tell you what is the scenario here. I am trying to observe carefully. I am trying to run the solution once again. Trying to run the solution once again. By the time what is going to, BluePrism, by the time our application is going to launch, Centric Data Solution application, BluePrism is going to execute this enter, this write stage, enter staff number and password. This write stage is getting executed before the application is launched itself, because we increased the speed here. The the flow here will runs in double speed. Okay, it is going to run in a double speed. The pace of the debug here is going to be high. Okay, so that is the reason it simply executes this stage, and it will automatically go to this stage and it executes that. It will not stop. It is not going to check if the application is launched or not. Without checking that, it will simply it will try to enter the staff number and password into the text boxes. Since they are not available, by the time this stage is getting executed, staff number and password text boxes are not available because the application is not yet launched. Although the stage is executed, application takes some time to launch. Okay, so by the time application is available, it is trying to execute this one. We are trying to, bot is trying to execute this stage, and it is failing because the application is not available. Okay, so let me show you that. See, it is executing the stage here. Observe it carefully once again. How fast it is running. It launched, it directly went to the stage, it executed the stage, and it directly went here, and it simply thrown this error. Okay, okay, hope you understood what I'm trying to explain here. See, it is executing the stage. By the time it is executing the stage, this application is not available, and that is the reason we are getting this error. Okay, understood? So that reason it is failing. It is not able to identify the text box. That is why we are getting the error when you run it in the full speed. So how to resolve this? Next thumb rule in automating web applications is, there will be some thumb rules in automation of any third-party application like Windows application or desktop application. Sorry, Windows application or web application, Java, mainframe, everything. Okay, when you start, first rule, when you start running the process, don't move your cursor. Don't disturb your cursor. Okay, do not disturb your cursor and do not disturb your application. Okay, while you are running the flow, don't disturb anything. Okay, and that is one rule. Okay, and next rule, whenever you are going to launch the application, right? After launching the application, some applications might launch quickly. Some applications might take some time to launch. Okay, so to load it completely, some applications might take some time. Let's say, for example, here if you see this, I clicked on this application, IMDb application, and if you notice how much time did it take how much time it took to load this page. It took some time, right? It is still loading here. If you see at the top, it is still loading. Now if I click on something, some link or whatever it may be, is it taking time to load that next page? Yes or no? It took some time to load the next page here, right? Same way, if I click on something else, it is taking some time to load the next pages. Yes or no? To launch it took time. So when we click on something, if it is navigating to some other page, is it taking time to load that next page or not? See how much time it is taking. I clicked on the name of the director, so that it is trying to pull the director information from the server. Okay, and it is still if you see, it is still buffering in the top. This web application is still buffering. And did it get the information? No. One second, let us click it once again. Okay, see, so it took some time to get this page. Yes or no? It took some time to get this page, right? To get the information about the director, we want to see the director information. I clicked on the director information and it took some time to get this page, right? So this is what is going to happen when you perform the clicks, when you navigate to one page to another. So what is going to happen? Not all the applications are going to run in a full speed. Okay, some applications will take some time, some applications will take some time. Yes or no? So that is what happened in this scenario also. Okay, when I went to IMDb, so IMDb launch time is different. Yes or no? It is we can't increase the speed of the application. Once the application is hosted to the ISS, right? Internet, what is that? Internet services, some internet services. Yeah, we will be hosting it in the web. Okay, so once we host it, we won't be able to change the speed of the application. We can't increase the performance of the application. Some applications might load faster, some applications might take time. When you click on some link, it might take some time to get the data from the server. Okay, so in that scenario, what we are going to do for to resolve such issues, we are going to use wait stage. What is that? We are going to use wait stage. Okay, so wait stage is the one which will help us to wait till the application is loaded, and then we will continue with the next step. Okay, now let us come here and see how to use this wait stage. So far we have seen launch, right, and yeah, sorry, navigate, right. Now we are going to see how to use this wait stage. Okay, so open the wait stage. If you see the properties of the wait stage, to the left side you have application explorer, and to the right side we have this data items, same way, and here we have actions. Okay, and here we have this timeout here. What is the timeout time here? 5 seconds. Okay, let me remove this action first, and let me define the timeout as 10 seconds here. 10 seconds. Now I'm going to link from launch to wait, and wait to enter staff number and password. Now observe this carefully. I'm going to run it in the full speed, or you can first let us run it in the normal speed. Then it is going to launch the application. It will wait for 10 seconds. It will wait for 10 seconds. Although my application is available, it will wait for 10 seconds. Okay, because I mentioned the timeout as 10 seconds, right? So it is going to wait for 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, now it will go ahead and enter the staff number and password. And that too, since my application is available, now it is going to enter the staff number and password, and it is able to log in into the application. Now If I mention 60 seconds, application launched within 2 seconds or 3 seconds, yes or no? Within 2 seconds we are able to launch the application. But why are we giving 60 seconds over there? We don't know. In that 60 seconds, application might launch at 30th second or 25th second or 15th second, or it might launch at 45 seconds. It might launch for 45 seconds. It might launch at 55 seconds. We don't know, right? You don't know at what time it is going to launch, how much time it is going to take for an application to launch. Okay, but is it okay if we give that static wait? We call it as a static wait. Basically, we are not doing any condition checks over there, yes or no? I'm not doing any checks here. I simply mention the timeout. It will simply wait for 60 seconds irrespective of the application availability. Application is available, now it should be able to enter the username and password, right? That is how we our performance will be good. Okay, even if the application is available, again we are waiting for 60 seconds. It takes time, right? Every time we can't use that static waits, yes or no? So that is the place where we are going to define a condition here, define a condition. So this is our element column. In this, we will pass a element. We capture this window login, right? We pass that element. I will say, check the existence of the element. Check the existence of that. Okay. Check window active, check window attribute, get window text. I'm not doing this. I'm just going to check the existence of that. Is it available or not? Is it available or not? If it is available, then go ahead and enter the data into text box. Okay, so I'm going to link this to, this is your condition. You got this knob over here, sir. You can see a dot here, right? That is your condition. Your condition, it is the condition. Once you define the condition here, you will get the dot. If you add one more condition, then you will get one more dot over there. See, you got one more dot over there. Okay, likewise you can keep adding the condition. So based on the condition, we are going to identify if that specific screen is available or not. Only if the screen is available, then you will be able to enter the staff number and password. If the screen is not available, is this stage will execute smoothly? No, it will throw an error. You can't run that stage. It will not be able to enter the username and password without the fields available. Okay, so this is your condition. So even after 60 seconds, if the application is not launched, so what do you mean by this? The meaning of this is, in 60 seconds, keep checking for this window, if that existing or not. If that exists at any point of time, let's say it might be available at 15th second or 20th second or 40th second or 50th second, anytime. So whenever it is available, immediately go to execute this stage. Go ahead and execute this right stage. Else, if it is not available, wait for 60 seconds and then simply it will go to timeout. Okay, so now let me reset this. Have you mentioned it in full speed? So let us make it full speed. Now start. See, it waits only when the application is available, then it will enter the value here. Okay, so let me relaunch it. Let me show it once again. Let me reduce the speed a bit. I'm going to run this. It is going to launch the application first and it will wait only when that is available. Now it is going to log in. Now even if you run it with a full speed, it will not cause any issue, because I asked, okay, there is no current, so reset it. Every time you reset it, okay. Now I asked it to wait, so you won't even able to see that yellow debugging flow actually. So that fast it is going to run. It is going to run in full speed. Okay, and it performs all the actions by waiting, because have put the condition over there, right? We have put the condition over there. Hey, wait for this particular element. Only when that particular element is available, then you go ahead and enter the staff number and password. Till then, you have to wait. That's all. You don't have any other. You don't need to go anywhere. You just keep checking the existence of this specific element.